Welcome to our Homegrown Parent Deep Dives, where we explore the fears, habits, and beliefs that shape how we show up, not just as parents, but as people. We know parenting isn't easy, and sometimes it feels like the struggles outweigh the wins. That's why we're here, to help you uncover the patterns holding you back, embrace a growth mindset, celebrate your progress, and grow into the parent and person you've always wanted to be. If this resonates with you, hit subscribe, check out the links below, and visit homegrownparent.com for more tools and support. Let's take this journey together, one deep dive at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
This time we're tackling a topic that I think a lot of parents can relate to, and maybe even feel a little guilty about sometimes. It's the impact of yelling on our kids.
Ah, yes. The age-old struggle.
Right. We're going to uncover the hidden harms of yellingness, delve into why we as parents might resort to raising our voices, and most importantly, explore practical strategies to break the cycle and build those stronger bonds.
Sounds like a plan.
Think of this deep dive as like a crash course in understanding the science behind yelling and equipping yourself with tools to create a calmer, more connected family life. And to guide us on this journey, we'll be referencing an excerpt from a text that really dives deep into this topic.
Looking forward to it.
So this source had a pretty startling fact right off the bat. It said that yelling, especially when it's combined with harsh words or tones, can have a long-lasting negative impact on a child's emotional well-being.
That's definitely something to pay attention to.
We're talking increased anxiety, aggression, and even challenges in forming secure attachments.
Those are some serious consequences.
It is. And I think it's something a lot of parents don't realize.
Yeah, we often assume that yelling is just, a way to get our kids' attention or to make them listen.
Right, like it's the most effective way to discipline in the heat of the moment.
But research is showing us a very different picture.
So in that sense,
Yeah.
what does the research say about how yelling actually affects kids on a deeper level?
Well, imagine this. Every time you yell, your child's brain lights up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's a vivid image.
It's their stress response taking over.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling safe and secure, their little bodies are flooded with cortisol and this stress hormone. And over time, this can really have some detrimental effects.
Detrimental in what way? What are we talking about here long term?
Well, think about it. If a child constantly associates their caregiver, the person who should represent comfort and safety, with stress and fear, it can really impact their development.
Right, that makes sense.
It can lead to lower self-esteem, difficulty trusting others, and even problems forming healthy relationships later in life.
So yelling might feel like a quick fix in the moment, but it's actually creating these long-term ripples that we might not even be aware of.
Exactly. It affects their sense of well-being and how they navigate the world.
Now, I think it's important to acknowledge that we've all been there as parents.
Absolutely. We're all human.
Parenting is hard, and sometimes that frustration just boils over.
Yeah.
It's like a pressure cooker. We're juggling work-family responsibilities, and then you add a child who's pushing boundaries or having a meltdown, and suddenly yelling feels like the only release valve.
I think every parent can relate to that feeling.
Right, so it's not about placing blame. It's more about understanding that yelling is often a symptom, not the cause.
Precisely. It's a sign that maybe our own needs aren't being met or we're feeling completely overwhelmed.
And that's where things get really interesting, because this source highlights how yelling can actually become addictive. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure, it's like any other habit. The more we rely on yelling, the more we need to escalate it to get the same reaction.
So we yell louder or we use harsher words.
Exactly. And it becomes this vicious cycle that ultimately damages the very bond we're trying to protect with our children.
That's such a powerful point to consider. And it definitely sets the stage for our next discussion, where we'll dive into some practical ways to break free from that cycle of yelling.
I'm looking forward to exploring those strategies.
I too. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with some actionable tips. Okay, so we've talked about the downsides of yelling and how it can become this sort of like addictive pattern.
Right, like a go-to reaction.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
But the good news is that our source offers some really practical strategies for breaking free from that cycle and replacing yelling with connection.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah. And the first one that really resonated with me is the idea of adopting a growth mindset as a parent,
That's so crucial.
because it's about shifting our perspective
Right.
from one of like needing to be perfect to one of continuous learning and growth.
For both ourselves and our children.
Exactly. It's acknowledging that we're all works in progress.
Absolutely.
We're going to make mistakes,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Mistakes are part of the process.
The key is how we respond to those mistakes.
And how we teach our kids to respond to them as well.
Right. So one of the most powerful things we can do when we slip up, when we do yell, is apologize.
Absolutely. Own it and apologize sincerely.
And not just a quick, I'm sorry, but actually explaining why we reacted the way we did.
Right, because it shows our kids that we're aware of our actions and that we're committed to doing better.
So we're modeling accountability and showing them that growth is always possible.
It's a powerful lesson for them to learn.
And it also teaches them about empathy, forgiveness, and repairing relationships.
All essential life skills.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about a technique that can help us interrupt that stress response in real time when we feel that urge to yell coming on.
Okay, what's the secret weapon?
It's called pausing and regulating.
Simple but effective.
So simple, yet so powerful. You know, the source explains that even just a few seconds of pause when we feel that anger rising can make a world of difference.
Like hitting the pause button on that pressure cooker?
Exactly. It gives us the chance to collect ourselves before things escalate.
And in those few seconds, we can actually lower our cortisol levels and start thinking more clearly.
So instead of reacting impulsively, we can respond more thoughtfully.
Which is what we want.
The source also mentions some mindfulness techniques that can be helpful here, like focusing on our breath or grounding ourselves in the present moment.
Mindfulness is such a valuable tool for parents.
Right, because it's not about suppressing our emotions. It's about becoming more aware of them and learning to manage them in a healthier way.
Exactly. And the more we practice these techniques, the more natural they become.
Like building a muscle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The stronger it gets, the better we are at handling those tough moments.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And speaking of building strength, it's important to celebrate those small wins along the way.
Absolutely. Every time you manage to stay calm instead of yelling, you're rewiring your brain for a more positive connection with your child.
So give yourself credit for those victories, no matter how small they might seem.
They all add up.
Okay, so we've talked about pausing and regulating, but another powerful antidote to yelling-induced disconnect is quality time,
That's a big one.
making that intentional effort to connect with our kids.
It's about setting aside dedicated time for things like playing games, reading together, or just simply listening to them without judgment.
Those simple acts can go a long way in strengthening that parent-child bond.
It's like filling up their emotional tank with love and connection.
I love that. And when that tank is full, they're less likely to act out or seek attention in negative ways.
Exactly. It's about meeting their fundamental needs for connection and belonging.
And when those needs are met, children feel more secure, more confident, and more capable of regulating their own emotions.
So it's a win-win for everyone involved.
Now, shifting gears a bit, the source also talks about the importance of communicating our expectations clearly.
So instead of yelling, "Why are you still playing? I told you to clean up."
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We can try a calmer, more direct approach like, hey, it's time to put the toys away now, let's do it together.
It's much.
It's subtle, but it makes a world of difference.
Because it's about communicating from a place of respect and understanding.
Not anger and frustration.
And it also models healthy communication skills for our children.
So what happens when we do slip up? Because let's be real, we all do. The source has a great concept for that called building bridges through repair.
I like that. It's not about being perfect. It's about what we do after we make a mistake.
Right. So if you find yourself yelling, the key is to focus on repair rather than guilt.
Okay, how do we do that?
The source outlines a really helpful process. First, sit down with your child and offer a sincere apology.
Acknowledge that it wasn't okay to yell.
Even if you were feeling frustrated, validate their feelings and then make a commitment to handle things differently next time.
So it's about taking responsibility, showing empathy, and making amends.
Exactly. And it's a powerful way to model accountability and emotional regulation for our kids.
It shows them that relationships can grow stronger through vulnerability and effort.
It's a powerful way to say, hey, I messed up, but I'm still here for you and our relationship matters.
Absolutely. It shows them that we're human. We make mistakes, and the important thing is that we learn and grow from them.
And this whole conversation boils down to one key takeaway from the source. Parenting without yelling isn't about being perfect.
It's about persistence.
It's a journey, not a destination.
And every step we take towards calmness and compassion, no matter how small, it creates a ripple effect in our child's life.
We're shaping their present and their future.
Exactly.
And what I really appreciate about this source is that it doesn't just point out the problems, it gives us real tangible tools to create positive change.
Right. It's not just about theory, it's about practical application.
One of the biggest shifts we can make is moving our focus from control to connection.
I love that Prioritizing that bond with our child builds a foundation of mutual respect and understanding.
It's about creating a safe space where they feel seen, heard, and valued.
And those moments of genuine connection are so powerful.
Not only are we strengthening our relationship, but we're teaching them valuable life skills.
Skills that will serve them well beyond childhood.
And speaking of valuable resources, if you're looking for more guidance on this parenting journey, I highly recommend checking out the Growth Mindset Parenting Journal.
It's a fantastic resource.
It's a 4-month transformational step-by-step guide and journal designed to help you and your child cultivate a growth mindset.
You can find the link to that in the show notes.
And as always, if you're enjoying these deep dives, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes.
We have so much more to explore together.
We cover a wide range of topics, all aimed at helping you live a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
We can't wait to have you join us again.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep those conversations going.
To show our appreciation for you as our listener, we've linked to some free resources to support you on your journey. Check out the links below and subscribe for more deep dives where we'll go deep on the issues that matter most to you. If you have a specific topic you'd like covered, leave a comment below and we'll do our best to help out. So until next time, stay calm, appreciate the moment, and look deep inside where you'll see yourself and your child.